Your Excellency, President of Ghana, so you've made agriculture one of the major parts of your government program, and it's excited a lot of interest across the continent. So how do you see now you're, was it 2 years, I think, into the presidency? How do you see what's working and what's your biggest constraint and challenge?
Prime Minister, thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, I have to thank President Kagame for the excellent hospitality. For me, the success has been essentially about policy. Because when you look at where we were before we came into office, and then what has happened since, it is largely because the policy has been properly aligned, in my view. The 3 years before we took office, Ghanaian agriculture grew at something around 2–2.5% per annum, 2 or 3% of growth. The country where population growth is at 3% per annum, then you know what is happening. You're talking about deepening rural poverty, which has helped in the acceleration of the migration of our youth from the villages to the towns, with all its social and other pressures that implies, and largely because there was a failure of policy. Some easy indices of that. The value of food imports in Ghana between 2007 and 2016. In 2007, it was $350 million value of imports of foods that we grow in Ghana. 10 years later, the figure had gone to $2.2 billion. An explosion in food imports. 2.2 billion is the amount of money we earn from our principal foreign exchange earner, cocoa. Right. So the amount of money we earn from cocoa goes to paying for our food imports. And if you have that kind of situation, you know there's a serious problem. And it is a problem of a failure of policy. So what we decided to do to revive Ghanaian is to devise a program which we call Planting for Food and Jobs. We're devising also financial instruments that would enable farmers to have access to credit. So this is a package of measures that have been put in place, and they've had a dramatic impact already on yields. Maize, which was yielding, 2 metric tons per hectare, is now gone over 3. We're now also focusing very seriously on establishing a really secure and reliable supply of fertilizer. The end result of it has been a significant increase in agricultural output and productivity. This last year, was our first year in office, 8.3% was the growth of Ghanaian agriculture.
That will impact your import substitution.
Absolutely. So this is why I'm saying that, for me, the most obvious area of success has been the policy making and implementation. It cannot be right that a continent that has something like, 25% of the world's agricultural land produces 10% of the world's output of food. These are the disconnects within the African reality, which should give all of us very serious cause for concern. My belief continues to be that until we sit down and work out what we need to do, we should stop blaming other people for our problems. Yes, we can't continue. Yeah, we should stop blaming other people for our problems. Accept our reality. Yes, colonialism, imperialism were very distorting, very destabilizing phenomena, but they're past, they've gone. We have to deal with the reality that we find. It's like saying you'd have liked to have been born in the 19th century. You can't. You're born in the 21st century. That's the reality you have to deal with. Sure. We have to deal with the reality of the post-colonial world and find solutions for our situation. And I think that is what we, the leaders, above all, this has to be our responsibility, finding the solutions that allow our people to get a better life. So this is...
I think that's
it's important for Gabon and for countries like Ghana, Rwanda, and Kenya to work together to increase the volume of inter-African trade. It's very important. Developing agriculture, going with developing inter-African trade.
I am very happy that Africa today, with the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, we can have the platform and the muscle to negotiate with the rest of the world on how to balance trade between us and them. We have to get our act together. I agree with the President of Ghana that the solution lies with us. Why are we struggling to access a market in Europe when the market is next door?
How can we blame anybody else for some of these shortcomings? How can we blame anybody else for Rwanda importing coffee from Europe when we produce coffee, but we don't process it? UK, France, Germany,